The other way to look at this whole thing is to do a mind shift. I interviewed Siri. You guys have seen Siri, right?
Sure.
On the iPhone.
Yeah.
Got bought by Apple.
Yeah.
And I'm hearing that's going to be the core of a future iPhone, right? And Google's doing the same thing.
It's an AI play, though.
It's not AI, but you talk to it. It understands your language, or you could poke at it and choose things from a menu. But really, the cool thing is you talk to it. You say, "I need a taxi tonight at 8 p.m. to pick me up here at the house," and it understands it. So, and you see that it understood your language, and then it uses artificial intelligence to understand what was he really trying to do, and,
right.
And he pulls out the keywords and the key concepts of what I was asking for, and then it goes to web services. And right now it doesn't have very many web services. It adds 40 or 50, but it brings back information like, hey, this taxi company can pick you up at 8 p.m. Here's the confirmation number, and here's the taxi driver's phone number. So
and it knows houses, this address, right?
You're bridging two very important concepts that keep coming up for us, which is the idea that there's a shortage of time. You never have enough time, and there's too much information.
And we're using mobile phone. We're using these less and less, and mobile more and more. Sure. And I hear that from every entrepreneur who. I interviewed OpenTable, and they said the mobile usage is just because people are out mountain biking or something, and they have this brain fart. Hey, let's go to dinner tonight, and so they poke at an app on their iPhone, or they talk to Siri and say, find me a restaurant, and boom, oh yeah, these 3 restaurants have space tonight, and it makes that reservation right from the cell phone.
Sure.
Spa Finder, if you want a spa treatment, or the spa at the Ritz out here has a Spa Finder system that manages their spa, and it has a calendar.
Right.
It's really interesting. OpenTable is a calendar, and Spa Finder is a calendar. It's their interface in front of them. It's like, oh yeah, we have slots at 8 o'clock on Saturday morning for you to come in. Well, it's a web service, so Siri could talk to it and say, hey, this guy wants a spa treatment in the morning tomorrow morning. Can you find me a slot there? And it it negotiates back and forth, and then it goes, oh yeah, we found one at 8. Let's pull that out and make a reservation. And that's something that doesn't look like when you're talking to Siri, it ain't looking like a calendar. It doesn't look like that grid.
Although our data set, I would imagine, would be very important for Siri, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so imagine a world where instead of 40 web services or so that Siri is right now talking to, like Fandango, OpenTable, a taxi web service, pizza web service, stuff like that. What if it was all Apple applications, all 250,000 of them automatically build an API that Siri can talk to and negotiate with? Then what happens to our world when we can talk to an iPhone and have it negotiate with everything in the world? Can you change my flight on Trip? And it knows, oh, he's on TripIt because he has the TripIt app. Let's look at TripIt. Oh yeah, we found the flight. Let's go to United.com. We know his frequent flyer mile because he has United Airlines app. And boom, all of a sudden you create a magical experience.
Is the calendar the hub for all of this?
Well, it sure seems like it.
Right.
Because like the spa salon has a calendar. That's a hub. The restaurant Citrella has OpenTable down the street, and that's a hub, and that's a calendar.
Right.
And what else is going to be a I'm going to have my Google Calendar or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever I find that's cool. Or you guys might take over the world there.
We're trying.
We will.
Yeah.
And Plancast knows where I'm going.
Yeah.
Plancast already knows all the events I'm going to in the next year.
Yeah.
Foursquare knows where you are.
Yeah, Foursquare knows where you are. Which isn't quite a calendar, but it could be shoving stuff onto a calendar interface.
Our thing is the calendar the hub for all of this.
Well, it sure seems like it.
Right.
Because like the spa salon has a calendar. That's a hub. The restaurant Citrella has OpenTable down the street, and that's a hub, and that's a calendar.
Right.
And what else is going to be I'm going to have my Google Calendar or whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever I find that's cool. Or you guys might take over the world there.
We're trying.
You
We
know?
will.
Yeah.
And Plancast knows where I'm going.
Yeah.
Plancast already knows all the events I'm going to in the next year.
Yeah.
You know?
Foursquare knows where you are.
Yeah, Foursquare knows where you are. Which isn't quite a calendar, but it could be shoving stuff onto a calendar.
Well,
So when you add mobile and location and everything, it changes. It changes what it, you know, what we can, and social.
Yeah.
Right.
It changes, and Siri hooked that into Siri now. What can Siri do about that? You know,
Mm-hmm.
already there's a service called Goby, G-O-B-Y, that you can say, I'm here. Where's all the hiking trails around here?
Right.
You know, and it's cool. It shows it on a map. You know,
Mhm.
Realtors.com had a map where you just look at the city. Oh, I want to live in that part of the city. You circle it, and it
Mhm.
shows all the houses available in that part of the city.
Right.
You know, and you know, and then you hook that into a calendar. You start saying, oh, okay, I have 5 houses to look at. I can't do all 5 today. Let's do 2 today. Well, that's a calendar.
Yeah.
You know, let's do 3 tomorrow.
Yeah.
And the calendar then has to get the realtor, you know, could talk to my realtor and say, hey, I got to look at houses tomorrow. Can you make, you know, these 3 houses happen?
Mhm.
Well, that's calendar. And so there's a calendar underneath. It might not be the UI.
The grid.
Right,
your-
but
Yeah,
the-
you might not look at
data.
the grid, but
The data
the
structure
data's
is
there, and the assistant, like Siri, that you're talking to, is going to make the deal with, you know, she'll
Yeah.
talk to my, you know, the Siri app will talk to my realtor's
Mhm.
app and make a deal and find out that she's available or not, you
Mhm.
know.
Mhm.